I'm here to demand a truly independent investigation into the irregularities surrounding the execution of Clayton Lockett last week in McAllister. I am Representative Joe Dorman, the senior member of the House Appropriations and Budget Committee. I also am the senior member of the Pubic Safety Subcommittee, which oversees the Department of Corrections. No matter how you look at it, Commissioner Michael Thompson cannot be an impartial witness and investigator. Commissioner Thompson was a witness to the execution. He is a felon, a political appointee who can be hired and fired at will, and there are jurisdictional defects with the Department of Public Safety and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol leading this investigation, as is pointed out by the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals case in State v. Crowley, 2009. I instead call for the appointment of a blue ribbon panel of experts assembled under the authority of the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations, the true authority to lead investigations in our state pursuant to Title 74, Section 150.5. It is obvious the lack of necessary protocols leading up to, during, and following the execution. Oklahomans deserve a truly independent investigation in light of the near constitutional crisis that almost occurred. Mary Fallon's actions and inactions are inviting a federal investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice, and she alone is setting back the use of capital punishment nationwide for decades. Governor Fallon, this is your administration, but it's still our state. Oklahomans demand justice and transparency in this process. Our elected officials must do better. On behalf of the people of the state of Oklahoma, I demand you change your course and implement my recommendations. OSBI's director is hired by their board, and their board has Senate confirmation. At least there are some steps in between the process to ensure that the other branch of government, the legislative branch, has some input into this. We're trying to do everything we can to avoid federal intervention into the affairs of the state. We've seen that happen time and again. The feds interfered in the 1970s when our prison system needed reform, and unfortunately the legislature did not take action at that time, and we saw what happened. We need to avoid that this time. I'm a firm supporter of the death penalty, and we have a responsibility as officers of the state to ensure that the Eighth Amendment is followed properly and that no punishment is severe or has any vein of torture. So we must do what we can to protect the integrity of the system as established. George Nye, one of my mentors, said that he is simply carrying out the duties that are put in place under the statutes when an execution occurs. The citizens have spoken. Those are our statutes, and those must be followed. I want to point out one thing, too. This is certainly nothing against OHP. I see Rusty sitting there in the back. We just feel that this cannot be an independent investigation. We have full confidence in OHP to carry out their duties as assigned by statute.